Have you ever heard of the film that played once on national television and then completely disappeared? Not just taken off the air, but erased from every archive, every record, as if it never existed. This isn't a plot from some sci-fi movie. It's a story that has haunted a generation of viewers for decades. A story about a film that seemingly predicted the future. They call it the Vanishing propaganda film. The year was 1983. Tensions were high. The world was a chessboard of political maneuvering, and governments were experts at using media to shape public opinion. On a seemingly ordinary Tuesday evening, national television programming was interrupted for a special broadcast. It wasn't announced in the TV guides. There was no prior promotion. It just appeared. The film was presented as a state-sponsored production, a piece of patriotic propaganda designed to instill national pride and a sense of shared destiny. But what viewers saw that night was anything but ordinary. Citizens who were watching, people who are now in their late 50s and 60s, recall the film with a chilling clarity. It started conventionally enough, with soaring orchestral music and sweeping shots of national landmarks, industry, and smiling families. The narrator's voice was deep, authoritative, the kind you'd expect from a government documentary. It spoke of unity, progress, and a glorious future. Then, things took a strange turn. The film began to depict scenes that were oddly specific and futuristic. It wasn't just vague promises of prosperity. It showed technological advancements that were pure science fiction in the early 80s. People remember seeing detailed depictions of sleek, handheld devices that everyone used to communicate, access information, and even shop. Think about that. In 1983, a time of landlines and chunky desktop computers, this film was showing something remarkably similar to the smartphones we all carry today. It didn't stop there. The film allegedly portrayed shifts in global power, the rise and fall of specific political ideologies, and even environmental changes with uncanny accuracy. One segment reportedly showed a map where familiar borders were redrawn, predicting alliances and conflicts that wouldn't happen for another 20 years. Another depicted a united Europe using a single currency, a concept that was barely a theoretical discussion among economists at the time. Witnesses swear they saw scenes of digital currencies. Global pandemics that led to widespread lockdowns and a society grappling with information overload from a vast interconnected network. The tone of the film was unsettling. While it was packaged as propaganda, it felt more like a warning, or perhaps a blueprint. The narrator's calm/steady voice described these future events not as possibilities, but as certainties. It was presented as the inevitable path of history, a pre-written script that was simply being revealed. The morning after the broadcast, something strange happened, or rather, nothing happened. Not a single newspaper mentioned the film. The TV stations denied ever airing it. When people called in to ask about the bizarre program they'd watched, they were met with confusion or outright dismissal. It was as if millions of people had shared a collective hallucination. This is where the real mystery begins. In the pre-internet age, erasing something was difficult, but not impossible. Official archives could be scrubbed, broadcast logs could be altered, but how do you erase the memory of millions of people? For years, the story was dismissed as an urban legend. A classic case of the Mandela effect, where a large group of people misremembers the same detail. Psychologists suggested it was a product of Cold War anxiety, a shared dream born from a collective fear of the future. But the stories were too consistent. People from different cities, different walks of life, all described the same film, the same scenes, the same uncanny predictions. They remembered the specific shade of blue on the futuristic uniforms, the unique logo of a corporation that didn't exist. The exact phrasing the narrator used when describing a financial crisis that would rock the world decades later. With the rise of the internet, these scattered witnesses found each other. Online forums and early social media groups became a gathering place for those who remembered. The Vanishing film. They shared their recollections, piecing together a more complete picture of what they had seen. They called themselves the viewers. Their search for the film became a decades-long obsession. They scoured unofficial archives, traded bootleg tapes of other programs from that era, hoping for a snippet, and interviewed former television employees. The official story remains unchanged. The film does not exist. No broadcast logs from that night show any unscheduled programming. No government records mention its production. Former employees of the state television network either have no memory of it or refuse to speak on the record. It's a perfect information blackout. This has led to countless theories. The most popular one is that the film was a genuine piece of predictive programming accidentally or intentionally leaked. Perhaps a secretive government agency using advanced predictive technology or some other unknown means created the film to prepare or manipulate the population for the future they knew was coming. When they realized the public reaction was one of fear and confusion rather than compliance, they pulled the plug and initiated a massive cover-up. Another theory suggests it was an experiment in psychological warfare. What if a foreign power managed to hijack the national broadcast signal? The goal wouldn't have been to predict the future, but to destabilize a rival nation by planting seeds of doubt and paranoia, making citizens distrust their own government and even their own reality. By creating an event and then completely denying it, you create a powerful sense of gaslighting on a national scale. Then there are the more fringe theories. Some believe the broadcast wasn't terrestrial at all. They point to the strange atmospheric conditions reported in some areas that night, suggesting the signal could have come from an extraterrestrial or even an interdimensional source. A message from the future, perhaps, sent back in time but intercepted and broadcast by our primitive 1980s technology. It sounds wild, but for those who saw the film, no explanation seems too far-fetched. What is so compelling about this story is that the evidence for the film as existence is purely anecdotal. It lives only in the memories of those who claim to have seen it. There is no physical proof. No grainy VHS recording has ever surfaced. No script has ever been leaked. This lack of evidence is, paradoxically, what makes the story so powerful. The cover-up, if there was one, was absolute. Think about the implications. If a government had the ability to so accurately predict the future, what would that mean for free will? Are we all just actors in a pre-written play? And if they had the power to erase a national broadcast from history, what else are they capable of hiding from us? The story of the Vanishing film is more than just a search for a lost piece of media. It's a search for truth, a questioning of authority, and a deep dive into the nature of memory and reality itself. Today, the viewers continue their search. They are older now, but their conviction hasn't wavered. They believe that somewhere, in a dusty, forgotten vault or on a mislabeled reel, a copy of the film still exists. They believe that finding it would not only validate their own experiences, but would change our understanding of history and the future. Was it a real predictive program? A mass psychological experiment? A shared delusion? Or something else entirely? We may never know for sure, but the story serves as a chilling reminder that what we see and what is real are not always the same thing. The truth, like that mysterious film, can sometimes simply vanish. What do you think? Could a piece of media be so powerful that it had to be erased from existence? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the unexplained, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more mysteries. Thanks for watching.